Everything that Pete ever did, he did with full passion. He won the field. I don't think there's a better honor for Pete Eiermann.
The spirit of my dad's vision is really in this, and it's great to see such a dynamic project coming together so well.
Peter rolled into Santa Rosa in the summer of 1976. He was moving from his home, the Bay Area, where he had grown up on the water as a sailor and a musician, to the country. He was a vivacious 30-year-old man who had been making his way in the world of corporate engineering. His move to Sonoma County reflects his mark as an entrepreneur, restoring historic buildings and preserving cultural heritage. Peter's projects include a restaurant, a microbrewery, a bookstore, 2 theaters, and many homes. While working and living in the community, he became involved by heading up the Dixieland Jazz Festival in Railroad Square, a fundraiser for cerebral palsy, and serving as a board member on the Cultural Heritage Board, making the preservation of the Carrillo adobe his emphasis. Peter's first project in Santa Rosa was a partnership with Bob Ribachadas, a high school buddy from Alameda. They chose Santa Rosa's neglected Railroad Square for Sourdough Rebos, their fish house and long bar. Sourdough Rebos came complete with can-can girls, Dixieland jazz parties, hearty clam chowder, and a pound-sized roll of sourdough. On any given night, patrons could warm their bellies to home-cooked meals while listening to Peter playing the spoons or the piano to a ragtime tune, sometimes breaking into song. It was on a rugby tour to New Zealand and Australia in 1981 where Peter got the idea for Excelsior Brewery. He reveled in the freshness of locally brewed beer. He had toured Europe. Why wasn't there a brewery in every town in the United States? He bought the rights to Acme Beer, a label with historic might, once the best-selling beer in the nation. Went on to UC Davis to develop a recipe for a rich German-style lager, and went to work raising money to build a microbrewery. Peter bought an historic flour mill in Railroad Square and voyaged back to Germany, his father's homeland, with his aging father and 7-year-old son to buy equipment from old German breweries. Aged copper kettles and control panels came over from Germany in crates, and Peter started assembling and polishing and restoring the hundreds of pieces to turn it into working equipment. He liked to call it his own manufacturing plant. Billed the hottest beer on the West Coast in 1988, Acme Beer led the revolution of microbreweries and brewpubs in the United States. Rugby was one of Peter's passions. He started playing in the early 60s in college at Chico. He played in Pennsylvania and back in the Bay Area for the Bay Area Touring Sides, otherwise known as the Bats. Peter toured the world with rugby, playing in Russia at the height of the Cold War, Italy, France, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. It was the combined grit and camaraderie of rugby that Peter loved about a sport where he could knock someone around on a muddy field and then drink a beer and sing songs with them afterwards.
We'll fight you like a soldier at war. We'll make sure you never want to battle us no more. Because we can never be whipped. When we attack, we'll get worked like an old battleship. Rosa, we're around.
Peter started playing with Santa Rosa Rugby in 1977 and made a 20-year commitment to the team, coaching them to back-to-back Division II national championships in 1993 and 94.
Pete was the first rugby player to be put into Sports Illustrated, and he's the first rugby player ever to be in there twice.
I had the opportunity to play with Pete in the last tournament, last games he got to play in. It was a tournament up in Las Vegas in January of 1997, and we went up there as an old boys team, and we got to play We got to play in the old boys championship game.
At a promising and ripened age of 50, Peter passed away from a rare blood disease in 1997. He bowed out with nary a goodbye, leaving all of his friends and family yearning for more. For Pete's Sake was born out of his death. Less than 2 months after Peter's death, the Santa Rosa Cultural Heritage Board recommended to the Board of Community Services that Santa Rosa acknowledge Peter's spirit of giving and name a park in his honor. In true Peter fashion, we expanded on that honor. Today, For Pete's Sake is a nonprofit committed to building community through youth rugby and soccer. All of those involved in the project are rugby and soccer aficionados, giving more than blood back to our community. We fund high school rugby programs, build youth rugby and soccer programs, provide equipment and coaching to the Apple Valley neighborhood, a high-crime, low-income neighborhood adjacent to the field project.
This man that's coming here, boys, he started soccer in all of Santa Rosa. This man right here, Joe Beluzzo. So all of us here, and I played in Santa Rosa, and Gabe and Alex, he's the one responsible right here. Everybody say hi, Joe. Hi. So this is Joe. So just having some fun here, Joe. Talking soccer. He's just watching. He's looking for that next special player. That's what he's looking for.
I'm looking for Pelé.
He's looking for Pelé and Maradona.
I think that building a field is a really important thing because kids, they need more places to play, especially soccer in the United States. It's such a popular sport around the world, and I think it can really help the world come closer together if we can create more opportunities for kids to play soccer. One of the things I was talking with Anne-Marie about was that I never got a chance to meet Peter Eiermann, but just by working with her and working with the organization and the rugby team, you really get a sense of his passion for the community.
I didn't start playing rugby until college, and I really wish I was introduced to rugby at an earlier age. And that's what For Pete's Sake is doing, is we're trying to introduce kids to rugby and soccer at an earlier age and maybe get them off the streets and give them something to do.
This coming year will be the second year that I've been working with or involved with For Pete's Sake. Last year, they really helped us out a lot. My team actually made it to the league champion spot. We were league champions with a record of 18-1. And really, we couldn't have done it without For Pete's Sake. They helped us out with a lot of funding. We had some good training equipment. It was a good experience for the girls.
When I heard there was a game afoot to build a field, I couldn't not participate. Currently, I am the president for Pete's Sake, and looking forward to this year of fundraising and breaking ground next year and getting the field built.
For Pete's Sake is developing 2.5 acres on city-owned property for an all-weather rugby and soccer field, which will host national and international levels of play, local tournaments, and after-school rugby and soccer programs. In agreement with the City of Santa Rosa, For Pete's Sake will have 75% of the usage for the field, for a 50-year renegotiable lease.
Basically, For Pete's Sake is providing a fantastic gift to the city because there'll be a all-weather field here at Comstock Middle School. It'll be used not only to Pete's Sake organizations, but a lot of other organizations in the city. So thank you, For Pete's Sake.
In memory of Pete Eiermann, this is a wonderful day for the city of Santa Rosa.
No, I lost my St. Christopher, now that I've kissed her, and the one-armed bandit knows.
Peter chose teaching as his last career. He returned to school 5 years before he died to earn a master's in education and had started his work in a PhD program featuring media literacy. Teaching was a fitting profession for Peter because he brought so much life experience and verve to the classroom. Plans for a half-acre outdoor education garden rest between the practice field and stadium field and will serve students from the 2 adjacent schools.
No, I don't want your sympathy. The fugitives say that the streets aren't for dreaming now. Manslaughter, dragnets, and the ghosts that sell memories. They want a piece of the action anyhow. Go. Old St. Matilda, old St. Matilda, you go, old St. Matilda, with me.
Students and neighbors will learn about native plant restoration and growing their own food. For Pete's Sake has been crafted to reach many facets of the community. How fitting of Peter to have a memorial that is not only constructive and creative, but also diverse and philanthropic.
I think it's just going to be a great legacy, and the spirit of For Pete's Sake is, it's just so rich, and it's something that we're all going to be really glad to have as the organization grows and continues to fulfill its vision of building fields and helping youth in rugby and soccer and seeing gardens and the educational piece that I think is just going to add such a great dimension that I think he would be very proud of. And it's a great project.